here at the Chuck and Ruck Show. Today we have a special episode. We are looking at the rankings for the top 10 running backs heading into the 2022 season. We are going to start with number 10 of the Denver Broncos, Giovante Williams.
Well, first and foremost, the honorable mentions need to get kicked in first. Honorable mentions had to get mentioned here. First honorable mention, Austin Eckler, who I personally felt should have been number in the top 10. The guy who didn't have 1,000 yards but 911, but fits in perfectly into the scheme that the Chargers run. Who, again, I feel as though, and we'll get into this much later, but I feel the Chargers is going to have themselves a heck of a year, and thanks in large part to Mr. Austin Eckler. Eckler fits in perfectly to what the Chargers do. He is a perfect counterpart to Justin Herbert in the backfield. I like Austin Eckler a lot. He is a perfect counterpart to him, and I think he should get mentioned to top 10. Another honorable mention, which we had this discussion earlier, Ezekiel Elliott.
Zeke.
Zeke is a guy that just lives off a name and name alone, who I just don't know. Yeah, he had a good season last year, but I just don't know if Zeke could still be the same guy that we remember. And Tony Pollard is coming up on that team, and I don't know. I think we're beginning to see the beginning of the end with Ezekiel Elliott, which Tony Pollard may be on the doorstep of stardom in Dallas, in my personal opinion. Speaking of guys who is on their way out, and this may be his last year, Saquon Barkley with the Giants. Saquon Barkley won Rookie of the Year, which, in my opinion, he shouldn't have been Rookie of the Year. I think that just should have been to Baker, which, by the way, nice shirt, by the way, there, Chuck. No, nice shirt, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
But anyways, Barkley won Rookie of the Year, which I think Baker should have won, but that's a whole nother issue. Barkley is a tremendous talent, but that guy has not been healthy the last couple of years, and I just don't know if Barkley is the same guy that we once remembered. I think he's definitely on his last. This is his last chance for him to show something. If not, he's definitely on his way. He's definitely on his way out of New York. And
like one of the biggest knocks that I've always heard on on Barkley is that he's just inconsistent. Like, when he's on, it's like no one can stop him. But a lot of games, man, he just disappears. I mean, he's like physically, this dude looked like a freaking, like a god. Like the way this guy's built, and like between him and Nick Chubb, I would like to see who can squat more weight.
More on Nick Chubb later, but Saquon's ability to be elusive, and to be as big as he is and as elusive he is, it's a crazy matchup. But like I said, I think his injuries held him back from being something special. And like I said, this is his last year to show what he's worth. And if he can't stay healthy and if he can't stay consistent, then he's on his last footing. I think this is make or break for him. I get it. The Giants' offensive line has not been great these last few years. Like Nate Solder, the guy they broke all that money to be their left tackle, has been an absolute failure, and he basically just cashed in all that money for nothing. But having said that, I mean, not comparing him in no way, shape, or form to this guy, but How many years have we seen Barry Sanders play under abysmal offensive lines, and yet that guy has turned in a Hall of Fame career? How many times have we seen Steven Jackson play under abysmal offensive lines, and yet that guy has been the model of consistency for over 10 years with the St. Louis Rams? I mean, just because your offensive lines have maybe been awful doesn't mean that you just can't, you still have to be able to produce. I mean, I'm not saying Barkley is that guy, those guys to that level, but you still have to be able to produce to some degree. I mean, we're going to get on Chubb later. But hell, when Chubb was here in his second year, offensive line was not good. And yet the guy was second in the league in rushing. I mean, I'm just throwing that out there. But to the top 10. And you mentioned Giovante Williams from Denver. I love Giovante Williams, and his role with Denver is only going to get bigger now that Russell Wilson is there. I'm calling Chuck. I'm calling it right now as I see it. Right now, knocking it right now. Giovante Williams is going to be a top 5 running back this season. I'm calling it right now.
What do you mean? In rushing yards, yes, or overall?
Yes. Giovante Williams will be a top 5 running back in rushing yards this season. He is incredibly talented. The guy I love that dude the moment he got drafted. I thought he was incredibly talented. I thought that he should have gained more of a look compared to Melvin Gordon. I thought Melvin Gordon was taking looks away from him. I get it. Gordon they had the 2-back system, and Gordon should have got his looks, but I thought Giovante Williams should have gotten more of touches and looks versus him. Giovante Williams is a two-way back that could do multiple things in that backfield. He can run, he can catch, he can do it all. And I think adding Russell Wilson to that team is just going to make him even better. I look for Giovante Williams, and I'm calling it right now. If it had, barring injury or barring anything catastrophic, I see Giovante Williams being a top 5 running back this year in rushing yards. I'm calling it like I see it.
Yeah, I think I like young dude. He's still very young, very green. He had to his 3rd year. I think this is his 3rd year in the league.
I think this is actually this might be his 2nd year.
Oh,
no, this is 2nd year.
Okay.
Yeah, because he was a rookie last year out of North Carolina. Last year he was a rookie out of North Carolina. So this is his 2nd year.
Yeah, I think Russell's ability to get the ball down the field, it can't do nothing else but open up running lanes, for Williams. So,
and not to mention that the weapons that Denver has on their passing game is just going to make it better. Remember, he has KJ Hamler. He has Cortland Sutton. He has Jerry Jeudy to throw to. So that just means that there's more lanes and more running room for Giovante Williams just to get to. Like I said, I expect a big year out of Giovante Williams and possibly Denver. Do I think Denver may go to the Super Bowl? Probably not. I don't think so. I don't think they'll get to the Super Bowl because I think their division is going to be a dogfight, but I think Denver is going to make that division incredibly interesting. Very, very interesting.
Oh yeah.
Moving on to number 9.
That division, when it's all said and done, it might be the toughest in the NFL. It's going to be a lot of good teams fighting.
That division and AFC North. That's going to be the biggest dogfight in the entire NFL. Like, I know people sit here and think like, oh, Pittsburgh may take a step back, but you can never sleep on Pittsburgh. You just can't. And I know people may think about Kenny Pickett. Oh, his hands is too strong. Yeah. I don't buy that.
Pittsburgh, they still got that unbelievable defense, and
absolutely,
they got a good running back. We're gonna get to here in a minute, but they definitely, I think they're gonna be in the running, but I don't see them winning the division. Maybe they might sneak in with a wild card, but who knows?
Probably possibly. But moving right along to number 9. And I feel bad for this guy this year. I really feel bad for this guy. Number 9, Aaron Jones, Green Bay Packers. I really, really feel bad for him this year. He's going to have a workload the likes of which we have not seen since the 90s. Man, he's going to have himself a workload this year. You talk about a guy that's going to get carries after carries after carries. Like, I get it. I get it. Aaron Rodgers is going to sit here. He's going to try to make work out of Christian Watson and all his other new wideouts he get. But that trust is going to be thin with those wide receivers. So you got to go with someone reliable. Look no further than Aaron Jones. Now, Aaron Jones is talented. I get it. He definitely will be talented, and he definitely can make it happen. But, man, that breakdown, whew, I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy. Oh, boy. But Aaron Jones will get a workout this year. He will definitely get it.
Yeah, they I definitely see more reliance upon him, since what's it called? It went over to the Raiders.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna definitely call upon his number. But AJ Dillon, they other running back, I could see him, getting some touches and doing this thing. I don't think it's gonna eat into Aaron Jones' stats or anything, but I think they might have a running back, not quite 50-50 running back by committee, but I definitely see Green Bay relying more on the run this year and allowing other guys an opportunity so they won't burn them out, so Aaron Jones, he can last a full season.
Well, that is Matt LaFleur's offense. His offense is reliance on running the football. So we are going to see more of that double-headed monster of AJ Dillon and Aaron Jones. But at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, expect old reliable and Aaron Jones to be called upon more times than ever before. Like, AJ Dillon will be called upon, but I do believe at some point we're going to be seeing more of Aaron Jones in this case. Will he last the season? I believe at some point he will, but I expect a couple of injuries. I don't wish that upon nobody.
No, of course not.
I just expect that workload is going to be massive upon him until Aaron Rodgers can develop the trust and does the talent that and Christian Watson, and they drafted another wide receiver. I can't even think of the name. But until that trust can be developed when the wide receivers they got in the second and third round. Moving on to number 8. Oh boy, Najee Harris from Pittsburgh.
Yeah, now this is probably my first question mark about the list. Not because he's not a really dynamic player, because this might be actually, much as I dislike Pittsburgh, this might be too low for this guy, man.
I think he's
a monster.
I think he should be higher. Considering Pittsburgh's offensive line was not good at all last year. I won't say it wasn't bad, but it was like below average, and yet the guy chucked up 1,200 yards rushing last year. Yeah, he should be higher. He should be top 5 in my opinion. He definitely should be, and he should only get better. He should only get better, basically.
Mm-hmm. And they definitely gonna rely on him this year. He might, he might have over 300 rushes.
Yeah, he definitely will have over 300 rushes because at some point during the year, I'm calling like I see it. Kenny Pickett is gonna take over this year at some point. Like, we've seen enough at Mitch Trubisky. He's not the answer. He's definitely not the answer quarterback. At some point, Kenny Pickett.
Well, Pittsburgh hoping to catch lightning in the bottom, like what Tennessee did with Tannehill.
Right.
You know, I don't, like you said, I haven't seen any type of star quality from Trubisky since he's been in the league.
Right.
You know, so you know, it should be Kenny Pickett's job, you know, by the end of this, probably by the middle of the season, but definitely by the end of the season, you know, he's gonna be firm in that QB1 spot.
Right. Right. But like I said, Kenny Pickett will be there by the end of the season. I do agree with you. And when that time comes, Najee Harris will be definitely called upon to do it. And he will definitely handle it. And Najee Harris will be the reason that Pittsburgh will stay firm in that playoff push. He's that talented, definitely that talented. Their defense is always going to be ready to call upon. I don't think Kenny Pickett. I don't think Pickett will be ready to have them in the playoff chase yet, but I think in about a year or so he will be. But Najee Harris will definitely keep that team interested. It's a crazy situation to think about that our entire division is just incredibly loaded with.
Yeah, boy,
just think about it.
Yeah,
our division is loaded with.
No easy games. You know, we definitely definitely got our work cut out.
You got Chubb, you got Najee Harris, you got Joe Mixon. Hell, J.K. Dobbins is talented in his own right. He could be starting for pretty much almost every other team in this league. If it was like he could be starting his own right for anybody else. Just like our division is just loaded for running backs. Like it's a crazy thing just to think about. Moving on to number 7, and I'm gonna be honest with you. If it wasn't for his injury history, his last couple of years, him just constantly being injured.
Oh yeah,
he should be number one.
Oh,
he should definitely be number one. Hell, you can make a case. He's probably the best damn football player in the entire league, in my personal opinion.
Mm-hmm.
But injuries keep this dude out of anything, and that's Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah, it's gonna be another crazy year because, you know, if Baker wins a starting job, like Baker's not that guy to make the game easier for his running backs. I think it's the opposite. Like, if you're not running the ball well, you know, I think you're going to have an issue with Baker as your quarterback. So
yes, absolutely.
They're going to definitely need him.
If your running back is running the ball, just make it easy, Baker becomes a hell of a better quarterback. But if you are struggling to run the football, Baker is more difficult to be out there to be successful with, which is why I think this season for Carolina is a make or break year for so many different occasions, because if Baker is successful and Christian McCaffrey is healthy out there, you have yourself a hell of a 1-2 combination out there for real. Like, we already know what Christian McCaffrey is capable of. Like, this dude is, and yes, I'm going to say this, and I don't care what nobody say. This dude is Marshall Faulk levels of just crazy talented. Yes, I said that. Yes, I said that. That dude is Marshall Faulk levels of talent. I mean, when was the last time you seen a dude that's 1,000 running back?
No, that don't happen. That doesn't happen.
It don't. The problem with him is just he can't stay healthy. That's his only gripe. He cannot stay healthy.
Mm-hmm.
But and like I said, with Baker, you have that guy as your running back with Baker. Possibilities is endless with potentially with Carolina, but inconsistency is like the black eye with the Panthers.
I think Baker Mayfield's his play action game is underrated. Like
it is underrated. It is very underrated.
Like how he hide the ball. You know, it's like it looked like a run, like he had the ball to the very last second, and it just fling out of there.
Imagine playmaker with this guy though, having playmaker with that guy as your running back. That's broke.
Mm-hmm.
That is broken.
But
like,
I mean, let's be frank. What's the chances this dude lasts past the first half of the season?
And that's the biggest problem. Like I said, Carolina Panthers is the model of inconsistency. They are not a consistent team at all. Either injury stop them or just bad play. Like last year. What was it last year? They started off and had that hot start, and next thing you know, everything just fell apart.
Yeah.
Everything. Sam Darnold started off the year looking like, holy snap. The dude looked like a franchise QB all of a sudden. Next thing you know, everything fell off. Wheels fell off, the windows, everything.
And he was letting everybody know. He was sticking his chest out and beating it.
Sticking his chest out, acting like he was the man and everything. And next thing you know, first bad game, he started to see ghosts again and everything. And it was crap.
Here comes Baker.
Yep.
I would like to see that team on Hard Knocks. If I had a choice, I would watch that.
Shoot, this offseason would have been the perfect time for them to be on Hard Knocks, considering the fact that Ben McAdoo is their head coach. The head coach is the offensive coordinator, which you forced Matt Rule and company to hire an offensive coordinator. Yeah, we seen how that go. Remember when Hugh Jackson was forced to hire Todd Haley as offensive coordinator? Yeah, how that went.
Mm-hmm.
My thoughts exactly. Oh, number 6.
Number 6. This is your boy. Mixon.
Now, if there was any guy that is underrated in this league that does not get props, that's Joe Mixon.
I mean, I agree with you. I think he is a bit underrated. Nobody really talk about him when they, mention the best players in the league. But for some reason, it just seems like Mixon has been in the league for a very long time.
It does seem like that. It seems like Mixon been in this league for almost 10 years, but he's only been in here for 4?
Mm-hmm.
Like 4 years. But it seems like he's been in here for 10.
Yeah,
the entire time I worked at, the entire time I've been in at what's it called? Jack.
Yeah, I guess because we see him twice a year, and
basically. So yeah, basically. But if there's anyone that is the model of unappreciated and underrated, Joe Mixon is that guy. Joe Mixon does not get no respect in this league and no type of praise. That dude is as talented as they come at running back. As they come. And that guy showed out last year for how good he is. And it showed when he finally had Joe Burrow. When Joe Burrow as his QB and Jamar Chase as his wideout. Like that dude was getting everything freed up. That dude is something special. And I think he's only going to get better and better and better. Because now for the first time in his career, he has an offensive line to play with now. He's going to have actual protection, like legit protection in front of him.
Yeah. Cincinnati, they spent a lot of assets beefing up that line this year.
Yes, which they definitely needed. So I would not be surprised if I call Giovante Williams top 5 in rushing. I see the same thing once again in Joe Mixon. He'll be top 5 in rushing as well. Like, definitely. Speaking of 5, Alvin Kamara, New Orleans Saints. This dude is always the model of consistency when it comes to running backs. Another guy that can do everything. I don't know why they was trying to trade him. I mean, the guy, he always producing. Like I think
he step on the field, he doing this thing.
I think the issue was though with him was a couple of things. Number one, you could tell that the Saints are a potential rebuilding year. I think like the glory days are behind him, so they probably are looking to rebuild. And also, last year was kind of a down year for him. He only had 1,337 yards in total production last year, and his yards per carry last year was a career low. He only had 3.7. So everything was kind of a down year for Alvin Kamara.
Yeah, so maybe he missed a couple games last year.
Yeah, he did actually. But he I guess the burden because Winston started last year, the more emphasis was put on him because they knew he was getting the ball more. So more safeties was put in the box on him. So as you all know, we have like 7 or 8 in the box against the running back, you're not gonna have many free lanes as before.
Yeah.
So
Plus he's what, 27 now. That's getting
26
up
years old
there.
actually.
That's
26.
getting up there in running back age.
Yes, it is. So it's the beginning of, so you can almost assure like he's kind of like on the beginning of the decline and everything. So that's why I guess they wanted to try to trade him. But I think he might have one more good year in him. But I think yeah, we're at the beginning of the end with Kamara. But he's had a hell of a career. Number 4. Speaking of guys that might be on the end of his career, number 4, Dalvin Cook.
Oh yeah, Dalvin Cook, he like a truck, man.
He is like a truck, but I don't know. Unpopular opinion. I'm not that big of a fan of Dalvin Cook like everybody else is.
I don't see why not. This dude, man,
okay, Dalvin Cook is a touchdown machine. I get that. All Dalvin Cook does is score touchdowns. I get it. He is a truck. He is a freaking Mack truck, and all he does is get touchdowns. I 100% get that. I 100% get it. But I don't know. It's just, I just feel that dude should be better. Maybe that's just me, but I just get the feeling that he should be better. Maybe I'm just tripping. Maybe I'm a plague. Maybe I am a plague of the hot take era on this one, but I just feel he should be better than what he is.
Yeah, I still, I think he gonna have another great season. He's that dude, he hard to bring down. Ain't no one person gonna tackle him.
No, he like you said, the dude is a Mack truck. That dude is, you're not bringing down. You are not bringing that dude down by no stretch of the imagination. Like, you are not bringing him down at all. Speaking of guys that is impossible to bring down, and I'm just saying this right now. I know he's number 3. I get it. I know he's number 3, but I don't care what nobody says, in my opinion. And you could call it a homer pick. We can call it a homer pick. We could say whatever. This guy is the best running back in football. I'll take this to my grave. This is the best running back in football. Number 3, Nick Chubb.
Yeah,
this guy has sat Chubb,
here. He's definitely, top 2 or 3 in the league.
This guy is consistent.
The only thing I say about Nick Chubb, I don't know if his stats are going to be that. I mean, he's going to do well, but as far as putting up like super great numbers, I don't know if he's going to do it because the Browns got a crowded backfield this year.
No, their backfield is definitely crowded, but I think that's what makes them better. Because if there's one thing that Nick Chubb that he does that is impressive, is his ability to get yards per carry. Nick Chubb over the last several years averages over 5 yards a carry. That's unheard of. That is completely unheard of for a running back to do. Over 5 yards to carry, that's insane. And yes, you are 100% correct. Our backfield is insane if you really look at it. Like, you got Kareem Hunt now, you got Dearness Johnson, who completely emerged last year as a potential starter. Like, that guy could start for almost half of the league if you really look at it.
Yeah,
and then you drafted Jerome Ford, who
I remember that game we got shellacked by New England. He still had a good game.
Yes, he did. Like, Dearness Johnson could start for half of the league. And then we drafted Jerome Ford, who I personally feel is going to be in the running for starter in about a couple of years. Like, our backfield has potential starters.
I I think this the last year we gonna have with what's his
Kareem
name?
Hunt.
Yeah. I
Kareem
think
Hunt.
this correct because this is last year on this deal.
Yeah,
Plus,
I think so too.
we got Ford. I can see Ford, backing up Chubb, and like you said, in 2 or 3 seasons, he might take over. Depending on
Yeah,
how he
I
do.
kind of agree with that. I kind of agree. I think this is the last year for I think this is the last year for him. But number 2, now this guy is not human. This
Yeah,
guy is not human.
yeah.
Jonathan Taylor for
Oh
the
yeah,
Indianapolis Colts.
he's a.
I say that for a reason. Do you know how many carries this dude has gotten when he was at Wisconsin?
I know he carried it a lot.
Yes, this guy got a megaton load of carries at Wisconsin. And for this dude to come in here as a rookie and he got all those carries, but instantly just get carries, and he still racked up 1,800 yards racked up 1,800 yards in the second year.
Mm-hmm.
That dude is not. I will say this though about Jonathan Taylor, and I'm not trying to be negative. I don't see how that dude is gonna have a long career. Because the way this dude has taken punishment from his days at Wisconsin until now, I don't know how he'll have a long career. Because that dude has taken carries like it wasn't nothing. Like this dude has taken punishment. I mean punishment. And the thing about him, he is not a finesse runner. That dude is down your throat.
Oh yeah, he statistically he should be number 1 on this list heading into
In
next
my
year.
opinion, he should be number 1, but we obviously know who is number 1, and I think he's only number 1 by reputation alone. He's only number 1 by reputation. Like let's be blunt about that. He's only by reputation alone. And I don't think, and me personally, I don't think that's fair. Obviously, number 1 is Derrick Henry, but
yeah, he missed a bunch of games. We're gonna see
he
how
did.
he
Missed
back.
A lot of games. He missed like the rest of the regular season and came back during the playoff game. But Derrick Henry, we obviously know is talented. He is a old school runner in the modern and with a modern touch to today's game. But Derrick Henry should not be number 1. He's only number 1 by name and reputation alone. Like to me, number 1 should have been Jonathan Taylor. What that guy did is pure old school. The guy is an old school runner. Like I said, he probably won't last long in this league, but what that dude did is just old school as they come. Derrick Henry is kind of old school, but with a modern flow. Nick Chubb is number 2 in my honest to God opinion, like flat out. In my opinion, personally, he's the best running back, but I'm not gonna take away what Jonathan Taylor did. That dude ran for 1,800 yards. Like you deserve that praise, like for real, in my personal opinion.
I mean, much as we, think that Derrick Henry may be on the down end, he still was beasting before he got hurt last year.
I mean, that's true. He did lead the league in rushing prior to his injury. I'll give him that. I will give him that. But by that time, the honors still go to Jonathan Taylor by default. That's just me though.
Mm-hmm. That's just me. Taylor was able to finish the season, so it's definitely gonna be interesting to see how Henry bounced back.
So
because they're gonna need him. What's that? AJ Brown?
Yes, he's gone now. And Traylon Burks is going to be the supposed to replace him. But like I don't know if I mentioned to you this earlier now, though. I feel this is going to be the beginning of the end for Ryan Tannehill at quarterback for Tennessee. I just feel as though is that he wore out his welcome there. I feel this is the beginning of the end, and I feel as though like Tennessee is going to be on the cusp of looking for a new quarterback. But that's just how I feel.
Yeah, they Ryan Tannehill, like he I don't know. He had a couple good seasons, got hot, but Tennessee, they have some pieces around him. It ain't like he, was just tearing the league up.
No, he's not.
But
He's as game management as they come. But I feel that can only get you so far unless you have something in you that can step up when it matters the most. A la Troy Aikman. Troy Aikman was a game manager. He's probably the greatest game manager that ever lived. But when it mattered the most, he stepped up and made the plays when they really needed him.
Yeah.
But I'm just calling it like it is. Troy Aikman was nothing more than a game manager, in my personal opinion.
And Tennessee, they just drafted Malik Wills. I remember Tannehill, what he said, it ain't my job to
it ain't your job to be a mentor to the guy. Well, you may not have to be a mentor to him because you may not even be there any damn way.
To me, that was like an unnecessary comment. You don't need to say that. I mean,
that's your ego just stepping in. That's your ego just stepping in the way and just sitting up here just feeling some type of way.
Yeah, because he feel that heat. He feel that heat on the back of his neck.
Big Ben said the same thing. Big Ben said that same crap years ago when they drafted when they drafted Mason Rudolph. He said that same crap. Hell, I think Joe Flacco said the same thing when they drafted Lamar Jackson.
Mm-hmm. So we, I think for the most part, like I said, this running back list is, is pretty solid. I think we agree that Henry.
I think it's solid.
Henry,
I think Joe Mixon though should be higher. I think personally,
Derrick Henry should be number one.
Should be number one. Chubb should be number two. I will put Henry at number 3. Eckler should be in the top 10, in my opinion.
I would probably move Najee Harris up. Najee Harris, he should definitely be in the top 5.
I will move him up. So, one last question. Who will lead the league in rushing this year?
Who's gonna lead the league in rushing?
Yes.
Probably Jonathan Taylor. If I had to make a pick right now, I would like to see what's gonna happen in training camp and stuff like that. But if I had to make a pick, I would probably go with Jonathan Taylor right now.
I'm gonna go out on a limb here. I am going to probably say I'm gonna go with Nick Chubb.
Well,
it all depends on what happens with If Deshaun Watson gets suspended, it all depends on Watson's suspension. The longer the suspension, the better the chance.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it.
Well, thank you, folks, for checking us out. This has been another wonderful episode of the Chuck and Ruck Show, and we will catch you next time.